Hello, I'm Reef Quayle, Managing Director of NRF in APAC and in the Middle East. And this is 5 Things Friday, Asia Pacific style.
Hello.
Hello.
I love the Asia Pacific style.
Asia Pacific style. I need to add some accompaniment to it.
I love it. And you've already started the weekend. You're in a bar. Fantastic.
It's nice.
That's the way to live. Yeah, retail, such is life. Yes.
Okay, well, listen, since in you're such a party mood, why don't you go first? What's top of mind for you this week?
Okay, I recently spoke at the Asia Retail Summit and I spoke about Answer Engine Optimisation, AEO. And, and only like maybe say 5 people in a crowd of 200 were like nodding away. Yeah, we've heard about that. Are you doing something about it? No. And the rest are like, what? And I said, you've heard of SEO, yes, search engine optimization. So AEO is answer engine optimization. And they're like, what? So, the thing here is with the fact that how we are using GPT so much, right? And never considered how actually that is going to work for our business. So AEO will get us chosen. And so how many businesses in retail are actually winning at this? So marketplaces are leading. So we've got the Shopees and the Lazada because they have very structured data, the price, the reviews, the inventory, and then AI pulls them very easily when recommending products. So that's really good. And then strong brands. And I want to be able to say, I'm looking at Nike. Nike's looking good. IKEA is looking good because AI trusts them. These are brands that have been around for good. And so they don't have, the agents don't have to think twice about taking their recommendations or answers or this kind of stuff that they put out. But then the other retailer, like Walmart, for example, that can connect, like say, data and a little bit of intent. I think intent data is something that is still missing from a lot of retailers thinking about what is going to be the future of retail, as well as transaction. I think that is where we are a little bit more weak. So I think there's a lot of catch up to be done. It is really about figuring out the answers to questions that perhaps you now need to design. And I love it.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, sorry, go on, Reef.
I was going to say, I was looking at, and they call it the online to online barrier, where it's the conversation between it's not the stage before I get to the store and not the stage before I get to the physical store. I go answer, brand, in store. And so this content piece, it's called the online to online border. I was reading some on this the other day, and it's all about the content. And so your content's being indexed if you like it or not, but it's actually the craft of writing the content and because you see in markets like the younger markets like the Philippines and Indonesia, where it's very Gen Z led, this is where this sort of behavior is manifesting. Like 35 to 40% of all queries starts at an agent, right? And so if you're not the whole world should be watching these two markets, right? Because no one has youth like these two, like Philippines and Indonesia. No one's got it like these two markets, and it's mobile led, so it's all very digital, and we're talking like up to 40% of the beginning of the journey is done this way for this demographic.
It's true now, especially now, and the way they're asking the questions, and especially Philippines because they are using English, right? And therefore, the way to understand it's way more profound and important. And I think a lot of retailers are looking out. So this is something we want to remind everyone. Start now.
Sure. Reef, what's next for you, sir?
Well, I am a little bit underdressed today because I'm a bit tired and emotional. Yesterday, I went to China shop. Yeah, always emotional, highly emotional. I went to Hangzhou yesterday. I got back this morning. I'm in Singapore now. So I went to China shop to have a look around. as a guest of the Chinese Chain Store and Franchise Association. Lovely
That's
bunch
pretty
of people,
cool.
great friends of NRF APAC. And what I came back with is one clear fact that has changed over the last 24 months. Chinese retailers and Chinese exhibitors and tech companies have Southeast Asia fairly and squarely in their
That's
top.
right. Yeah.
So if you're a retailer, right, expect some Chinese friends to arrive at your doorstep. And if you're a retailer looking for new tech, expect the Chinese technology companies to be there. I mean, a lot of them are setting up in Singapore, you know, as head ops in Singapore, but they're coming. And whether I was talking to exhibitors, when I was talking to leaders of big retailers in China, Southeast Asia is the place. There's 700. They see it as 700,000 people in the region in Southeast Asia alone, and a tremendous amount of wealth creation. You know, probably we're talking the region powering up in terms of wealth over the next 3 or 4 years.
I mean that you were thinking, yes, and that's why you need to come to NRF APAC.
It was absolutely, and there's a lot. Last year we hardly had a handful of retailers. I think we're going to have. I think China will be our biggest market outside of Singapore this year in NRF.
Oh, amazing.
It's going mental. And
I can't wait to exchange ideas with them. Yeah.
And they want to do business. It's easy they're forthright. They're direct. They love to. No, it's also. I have a great time every time I go up there. But I think that there's a transformation. I think the Chinese economy 2 years ago was probably trucking along pretty well. That's slowed, and so they're looking for that next tick up, and that's where they're eyeing Southeast Asia as an opportunity.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so loyalty tech is a different level when it comes to China. It's crazy.
And then you overlay the super apps of WeChat and Alipay, and all of a sudden you're like,
absolutely.
I don't think China has to worry. Any retailer in China has to worry about technology to stand out. But if you're a retailer in Shanghai with a market of 22 million consumers, how are you going to stand out? Because it's not technology. Fantastic. Okay, Ewan, what's your second one?
So now that we've talked about China, whatever I'm going to say next, I feel a little shy. I'm going to talk
that's not like you.
No, but it is true. But zero click is a conversation that most marketeers are having right now. We are talking about how to help your customers get to the end goal quicker and faster. So you're removing a lot of anything that creates friction. So if they have to search, then you just recommend it. If you have to compare, then you just kind of like build up your trust. If you have to decide, then you kind of pre-decide for them and just give them like, oh, okay, we've streamlined already 3. So why don't you choose one, So the lesser the click, the better it is, until there is as little click as possible. But then the question is also, isn't this creating a lot more questions in the consumers and customers thinking about, oh, can I really trust you? How do we then go towards making sure that the customers actually do feel like, okay, I can trust this brand, irregardless of how many clicks to get there, or because I trust you already. So whether you have 5 clicks or 7 clicks, actually it doesn't matter, because I will understand that it's worth my while to do the click. So this is a huge conversation amongst marketeers, really. And I thought that while we are, looking at China coming up with tech that was crazy, and then here we are having such a conversation that's like, we're like babies.
Yeah. And you, for that point, if the Chinese retailers are coming in the way they're talking about, we're going to have to get good quickly because they are good. They're very good.
And it's also availability of tech, to be really honest. So I think if China's tech is written in English to begin with, it's really going to make it so much more accessible for all the other countries around the world. Yeah.
I remember talking to you, Ewan, when we first got to know each other, and your biggest challenge in Malaysia was finding the tech to
Still the same problem. I mean, for me, it's always going to be what kind of tech outside that could come in. And then we talk about security, and then we talk about trust, and then we talk about, can this be done in our environment instead of, needing to follow it back to China? So that's something that we can't do and we won't do. So the trust layer is quite important. So I think the Chinese need to really look at English, need to look at security, need to look at being able to do it in other environments aside from their own proprietary ones. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Fantastic. Moving on to you, Reef, for your fourth one.
I met some of the leadership from a brand called Chagee. Now, Chagee, if you live in Southeast Asia, you are well familiar with this brand. Okay, so Chagee was founded in 2017 and in a region of China called Yunnan, which is famous for tea. So Chagee has now in every Southeast Asian market. This is their flagship store in Indonesia, but they're in Vietnam, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, and one other one.
Many other locations.
Malaysia. Well, how could I forget Malaysia?
No, I was going to say it. I was just looking for my unmute button.
So there's once again. So let's start from the top. They're really only since founded in 2017. So this company's only been around for 7 or 8 years. It's for lovers of tea. And it's obviously very much rooted in China, but it's the next generation of tea. They have got, so if I look at their website, I'm going to have a look at it now actually. There's a global growth.
It's about real tea, real flavors, real tea. Absolutely. They take it very seriously. They are quite premium in the space.
It's very much, and it's very much, the experience in store is pretty special too. They've got over 6,000 stores worldwide. You know? Yeah. But they're primarily in Asia Pacific, and they do have a US presence as well. But this is a classic example. We talked about brands go east to west. So this has gone to the US, but now we're very much in the Southeast Asian region. And this is a case in point of a Chinese retailer who's decided Asia Pacific is the place to be, and this is their home. You can see the lighting, the minimalism, the design, the curves. It's well-being. It's premium. There's a whole experience and tasting in these places. So they are really special sort of experiences. And I mean, we talked about experience with Baby Bunny. Like, wait, you can see this will be paying back really quickly because they're really tea destination stores. They're for lovers of tea.
I love it. Okay, so I'll bring us home. I'm actually going to pivot. I was going to talk about 7-Eleven and how they're withdrawing or putting back by 12 months their IPO for the North America part of 7-Eleven. So they've put it back. They're closing stores. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to build on what you have said, Ewan. So let me go here. Take this off there. Add this to stage. I've talked about this before. Retail News AI. We have an AI glossary, but what's really important, just to sort of put it into context so people get an understanding. AEO, Answer Engine Optimisation, which is the dominant new discipline. Then you've got GE, which is Generative Engine Optimization, which is an extension to LLMs. And then the one that's really relevant to retailers is AI-generated experiences through Google AI mode. I'm not going to get into each one of them and how you try and rank yourself up. That's a conversation for another one. But what's really important, traditional SEO is not dead. So you need to be thinking about how you maintain SEO and get that up. And then there's EEA, which in a world where everyone can differentiate between AI, and it's something that I've trademarked, right? So I've trademarked this in the UK. It's called the Human Intelligence Platform. So not only have I trademarked the Retail Podcast, that's something else, but and the human differentiator is what the AEOs, AGOs, AIs look for. So they're not looking for more AI responses. They're looking for more human. And so this is where in retail it's really important. Don't forget the human in the loop, although the human will come out of the loop in some parts. But for content and how you rank on all of these different areas, the human in the loop is the one. So I just wanted to throw
So are you saying the engines are prioritizing human-generated content and they're detecting
Absolutely, 100%. And more importantly, going back to what Ewan was saying, in terms of trust, it's content creators who, and it's like what you've seen with
trusted content creators.
Absolutely. So that's the future. The
I mean,
AI
if I'm
model-
searching, I would love my engines to tell me what other humans are saying, not what other engines are saying.
Correct.
Yes,
Exactly. That's what
yes.
retail. That's where the value is, and that's why, in my mind, the human intelligence platform is where we're going to go. And on that bombshell, we're going to end it. Until
Well,
next
but
week.
no, I want to ask one question of you on your AI
Go
glossary. Now, your AI glossary, you had something like 99 terms last time. Have you got over the like? There was
No, not 100. I'm still at 94.
oh, so it's the 94 top AI terms.
I've got to be really
we just
honest.
need
Some of them are
we need the
ridiculous.
top 100. We need 6 more. We might have to have a competition. We might have to release
Get
it
the
and have a
last
competition.
6. Yeah, no, because what happens is some of them become repeated. Like in there's Walmart AI and stuff like that. But each one has what it means underneath it. So I think it's a nice resource for people to, if you get AI stuck, go and have a look and it will be there.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Awesome,
Until
mate.
next week, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ewan.
Bye.